Go Gaston County, and welcome to the 85 podcast. The 85 is broadcasting live from the York Chester Brewing Company. How's everybody doing today?
Yeah, doing great.
Fantastic. As always, to my right, Nick Dumont from the Gaston Gazette. How's Nick feeling today, Nick?
Nick has a beer, so Nick's great.
Josh, I see you might have a beverage as well beside you.
I got a beer too. Just got off of work, and we're doing the 11th episode of the 85
the
podcast.
11th episode of the 85 podcast. Listeners, followers, thank you so much for supporting us. Please continue to do so on all the social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at the 85 pod. We're on Facebook. We have a Facebook group called the 85 pod. Or if you want to, you can just email me the old-fashioned way at the85pod@gmail.com. Guys, we have a website, don't we? We have a website. I believe it's www.the85pod.com. What do you know about it? Hey, have you guys seen the, what is it, hashtag LoveGastonia?
LoveGastonia, yeah. Mayor Walker Reed in Gastonia, he actually used that hashtag in one of his Instagram posts a couple days ago. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and there are this couple, the Burks, that I follow on Instagram as well, who's very active in Gaston County, and they've been posting these hashtag LoveGastonia.
Random people that I've seen with that hashtag are really great photos that are really showcasing everything that Gastonia has to offer. It's
Which
cool.
is great because it's like a gem of a city if you look at it the right way, you know. It's all about attitude. It's all about the positivity that you put out in the world, and I love that people are putting that out there. Independently as well, I think this podcast is in that same vein as hashtag LoveGastonia. We're just trying to big up Gaston County. There's a lot of stuff going on, so if you're bored, it's because of you.
It's because of you.
Joshua, what do you think? Should we get down on this rundown?
First up, we're going to get down with the Go Gaston events. Next, an interview with Julia Roberts.
Wait, the Julia Roberts?
Not the Julia
You'll
Roberts.
find out.
The Julia Roberts. Then we're going to speak with Heidi from Anchored Soul. Next, we will say namaste to local yoga instructor Nancy Daniels. And last but never ever least, we'll finish up with Inside the Pages with Nick Dumont.
Josh, hit that beat real quick.
Let's go.
Let's go Gaston. Let's go Gaston. Let's go Gaston. Let's go Gaston.
All right, let's get to these Go Gaston events. This will cover you from August 10th through August 31st, so it'll take you right into September. On August 10th at 8 p.m. at the Rock House in Gastonia, In Rage Against the Machine is performing live. If you've never seen In Rage Against the Machine,
Is that a cover band for
they're
Rage Against the
Rage
Machine?
Against the Machine cover band.
Awesome.
That's exactly right.
Nice.
So if you want to get a little bottle aggression out, you know what I mean? You want to stick it to the man, go to the Rock House on August 10th. Also on August 10th, at Friends Sports Bar and Grill in Belmont, they're having a back-to-school party just for their parents. Blind Manifest, another cover band, will be performing live there, and the event starts at 7 p.m. On August 11th, in Mount Holly at the South Main Kitchen, CCL Side Dish Cornhole Tournament is going on there. There's going to be multi-tiered levels so that if you're not the best at cornhole, you can still come out and have a good time.
I know you'll be there.
On August 12th, from 1 to 5 p.m. at the Shield Museum, they're having a rendezvous of the idlers. Join the backcountry folk on this 18th century farm for an idle afternoon of music, dance, and intrigue from August 1775. It is included in the museum's admission.
What is
Great.
intrigue? I'm intrigued.
I'm just saying.
That was the turn of the century right there.
Yeah, a lot of people shouting out the British and everything. Like that. You know. Anybody got any tea? Never mind. I don't know. On August 16th at 5 p.m., the Stowe Botanical Garden is having their sip and stroll. They have this on every Thursday. It's awesome. If you want to, you can also use their putt-putt green. They call it the Pollinators Putt-Putt Green. August 26th, from 7 to 8:15 p.m., Simply Yoga Wellness Center is hosting their Moonlight Candlelight Yoga practice, so you can do yoga by moonlight, which is great. On August 27th at 7 p.m. at Cavendish Brewing, they're hosting Zulu Prophet. And that is all of our Go Gaston events. You guys, we are honored to have a celebrity on the podcast today. Mrs. Julia Roberts.
Hi.
How are you doing today, Julia?
I'm okay.
Fantastic. So, This is not the Julia Roberts of Stage and Screen. This is the Julia Roberts of York Chester Brewing Company. So what summer events can people expect from York Chester in the coming weeks?
So we will be in Mount Holly for Food Truck Friday on August 10th. And then we'll also have live music here at the brewery with a guy. His name is Michael Lowe. Okay. He works in the building for one of the shutter companies. But if you've not listened to this guy sing, go to our Facebook page and look at the video of him because he sounds amazing. The next event that we'll have after that is on August 17th. We're having an art night here. Where people can come on a date and do a date night jar.
So those are the events going on this summer. Are you guys thinking about any beer releases in the near future?
So
you guys just went through alternate reality.
We are wanting to lean more heavily into doing the New England style IPA. So if you didn't get to drink alternate reality, there'll be another variation of a New England style IPA.
And just so people know, New England style IPA is like a juicy.
So they're hazy,
tasting,
juicy, tasty. I tell people it's a little bit like beer orange juice.
Yeah.
It's yummy.
Usually if like beer's not your main thing, a juicy IPA can kind of bring you into it. Yeah.
So like if you're a super hophead, it may not.
Right.
That style of IPA is probably not for you.
Right. I'm going to ask you the question that I ask a lot of Gaston County breweries.
Okay.
If someone walks in your brewery and says, I just drink Bud Light, what beer should the Bud Light drinker get from York Chester?
If we have it on tap, they should get our blonde ale. The gentlemen prefer blonde ale.
Gentlemen prefer blonde
yes,
ale.
It is. Well, I tell people it's our transitional beer, so it's going to be light. It's going to have a nice golden color. It's easy drinking. You'll get more of the malt and less of the hop, so it's not going to be super bitter.
Nice.
It's just going to be very smooth.
Y'all's names are awesome.
They do have really good names.
That is really good names.
They have a Irish stout called...
But the Irish stout, Patio Murphy's Dry Irish Stout, because it is a dry Irish stout.
Dry Irish stout. Julie Roberts, thank you so much for having us at your brewery. Thank you so much for having us at York Chester Brewery.
Thank you for being here.
I hope you'll invite us back, though I'm not sure.
Maybe.
So we're sitting here with Heidi Schmidt from Anchored Soul. How are you doing this afternoon, Heidi?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a beautiful day.
Yes,
Got
it
some
is.
beer on the table. I'm loving it.
Yeah, recording live from York Chester Brewing Company, which is right next to the river, and Anchored Soul is right next to the river, right?
Anchored Soul is actually on Lake Wiley.
Oh, okay,
yes.
gotcha.
Yep, we're near Allen Steam Station Discharge over on Lake Wiley.
So Anchored Soul, I know, does paddleboarding. Tell me, if I want to go paddleboard with Anchored Soul, what do I do?
You just have to show up.
Okay.
Yep, just call and let me know. I work for Duke Energy full time, so Anchored Soul is a nights and
Everybody's
weekends
got
kind
more
of
than
thing.
one hustle.
Exactly.
We're not all podcasters
One job
here.
has to pay the bills. So you just call and say, hey, I want to go stand up paddleboard, and then we talk about what time works out best, and we get out there. I give you my certified expertise, and I give you the right board for your body type, and we get out there, and you'll have sweet success.
Nice. So, for someone who doesn't know what paddleboarding is, let them know what it's like. It's like surfing on flat water.
It's like standing up on water.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah, no, seriously though, it's just like surfing, but you're standing up the whole time, except for when you're falling. But for the most part, you're standing up, and you have a paddle. It's great. It's a blast.
So, do you come with a group? Do people join groups that are already doing it? How does that work?
It's pretty much anything and everything you can imagine.
Really?
So if you call and you want to do a single lesson, I do single lesson. If you call and you want to do a group lesson, I do group lessons. I just recently did a lesson with 14 people.
Oh, wow.
Obviously, I don't like to do more than 10 people that are inexperienced. So 10 of them were actually inexperienced. The other 4 had experience. So I could focus on the 10 who didn't have the experience.
Nice.
I do group events that are planned ahead of time, and all of those are listed on Facebook. Gotta love those dogs.
Yeah. Recording live at a brewery, you know?
Exactly. I actually do sup pup events where you could take your dogs out there, and we'll get your dog out on the board with you.
That's awesome.
I teach humans and I teach dogs how to stand up paddleboard.
Nice. A dog could probably paddleboard better than I could.
Exactly. They got that doggy paddle down pat. Yep. Yep. Gotta love it.
So, what is the one, if you could give one tip for someone trying to paddleboard, because I try to paddleboard all the time and can't do it, what is the one tip that keeps them paddling or keeps them up?
The one tip that I tell every client that comes out is do not try to go from standing on land to standing on water directly. It actually takes starting on your knees. If you think that you can go from standing on land to standing on water immediately within a split second, it's not going to happen.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, you're going to unless you're a kid. Kids can do it because they're not vertically challenged yet. They've got a very small center, low center of gravity. But definitely starting off on your knees, getting your center, your balance there, and then slowly standing up to a standing position. And making sure you have the right size board. If you've got the wrong size board and you don't have a fin on that board, you're setting yourself up for failure from the get-go.
A fin? What do you mean by fin? Is there a fin on the bottom?
Yeah, there's a fin on the bottom, and that helps you with your balance and your tracking.
Are bigger boards better for balance or smaller boards?
Bigger boards are better for balance, but you can have too big for your body type, because if you're a small person and you're trying to paddle a bigger board, it's going to be miserable and hard work.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
So Anchored Soul, where did that name come from?
Well, so I'm originally from New Orleans. Hurricane Katrina booted my family out. We moved and were dispersed, and I had a rough time with that, and the water was pretty much my saving grace, my home, ever since I left New Orleans. Mm-hmm. The water is where I went to just ignore all my issues, all my worries.
Yeah.
So home is wherever you drop anchor is the slogan I had come up with first.
Okay.
And then from that, I said, I'm an anchored soul. A lot of people think that's kind of a negative thing, but it's really not. An anchor you can pick up and you can drop wherever you want to.
And that becomes your home.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that idea.
So your home is wherever you anchor.
Nice. Do you guys have any regular events that you do throughout the week?
Yes. Sup Fit classes are on Mondays and Wednesdays, evenings after work.
Remind me what that is?
Sup Fit is aerobics on a stand-up paddleboard.
Okay.
So I'm certified stand-up paddleboard instructor. I'm not a certified yoga instructor, so I teach aerobics and cardio on a board rather than yoga on a board.
Nice. So if our listeners want to contact you via social media or Facebook, where do they need to go?
They can go to Anchored Soul, which is on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Anchored Soul Brand. And you can always call me at 910-SUP-HEIDI.
Nice.
That's my phone number.
That was a good idea, yeah. Fantastic. Well, Heidi, thank you so much for coming on the 85 podcast. We really like it when people take the time to come out and get to know our podcast just like we get to know their business.
Well, I appreciate the invite. I enjoyed it. Y'all's podcast is awesome. Keep it going.
Thank you so much. Thanks. And I'm here with Nancy Daniels from Morning Mountain Yoga. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Nancy.
Hey, thank you, Zach, for having me. I'm glad you reached out.
Yeah, me too. So Nancy and I met. I was at York Chester Brewing Company, and I was hanging out with the owners, and I saw a group of people congregating on their patio, and I was like, what are these people doing? They're unfurling mats on the ground. I thought maybe they were going to do some type of cooking thing, and they were bending in weird ways. What were you doing over there, Nancy?
So, one of the ways to really bring people into a yoga practice is to meet them where they're at. And, a brewery is a fantastic place to do that, because who doesn't like beer?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
yeah, contorting into weird shapes and, going with just the physical asana portion, it's a great thing to do at breweries. So.
Nice. So just so people know, at York Chester Brewery on Thursdays at 7
p.m. every Thursday like clockwork. We have what is in the summer called a hot yoga class. And we'll do yoga on the patio, or sometimes yoga in the shade even.
Nice. I like it's hot yoga because it's hot outside. So
exactly.
We don't need a studio to make it artificially hot.
That's right.
And you said you do yoga in breweries. Do you do it in other breweries as well?
I do, actually. I also teach yoga at Riverman Breweries on the first Sunday of every month.
Nice.
At 10 a.m. And I teach yoga at a brewery in Marion.
Okay.
So that's on the second Sunday of every month.
Nice.
Yeah.
So for someone who doesn't know, who has an idea about what yoga is but doesn't really know what it's about, to give them a little idea about what happens in your yoga practice. And they call it a practice, right? I use that word right?
Yeah, practice is exactly what you call it, because nobody is ever perfect at it, right? So yoga is one of those things that no matter what you do, there's always room to grow and there's room to learn. Mm-hmm. So it's a constant practice. Okay. And there's no such thing as yoga perfection.
Okay. I like that idea.
Yeah.
This is a podcast practice.
So in the West, we tend to look at yoga as just the physical asana or the physical movements, and people tend to look at it for the perceived health benefits and things of that nature. But really, when yoga first came about, it was really created as a way to get your body prepared to move into meditation. Okay. So the whole idea behind the physical practice was just to get your body to a place where you could begin to meditate and no longer focus on the things that your body was doing.
It's interesting that you say that because I don't meditate, maybe I should, but I just don't. However, when I exercise, because I'm focusing on the movement, because I'm focusing on what I'm doing, I'm not thinking about the other things that are going on in my life, so it kind of has that same effect. I don't know if you feel that way
Absolutely, it does. Yeah. So I'm an avid CrossFitter as well, and that's one of the
when
things.
When we set up this interview, by the way, she missed my phone call because she was in a CrossFit class, and she's doing yoga later on today.
Cool.
Josh or Chapman, what did you do today?
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with doing CrossFit and with any other physical exercise is it's the opportunity for your body to kind of disconnect from the mind and just do what the body is meant to do, which is move and create and lift things and, sweat a little bit. It's good for you to do those things. And, it's much better, although maybe not as relaxing sometimes, as sitting back on the couch and watching TV.
Right. Now, are your classes for a certain level of people who are into yoga? Is it for everybody? How does that work?
So I try to make sure that my classes are accessible to everyone. Okay. There is scaling. There are modifications to every pose and to every physical form. There are modifications to meet you exactly where you're at. And so, like you said, you don't have to touch the floor. You don't have to be able to do 100 push-ups. You have to be able to walk in and be willing to give it a try. And that is literally all it takes. Because if you're having problems touching the floor, there are props and there are modifications to meet you exactly where you're at. Right. And whether that's meeting you at the brewery or meeting you at your knees instead of touching the floor.
Right.
It's exactly where it's at.
How did you get started teaching yoga?
So I've been doing yoga, probably since my freshman year of college, and I'm not even going to say how long ago that was. And
it's like 2 years ago.
Yeah, thanks. I'll go with that. But it's something I always really enjoyed. And I found I'll call it my yoga home when we were living in Tampa. I found my yoga home. It was a place that I would go for practice regularly. And it was just such a beautiful environment. And they also did teacher training there. And I basically kind of signed myself up without telling my husband for teacher training. And I was like, hey, so I'm going to do this thing. It's like totally a 9-month commitment. I'm really sorry. And, I just fully jumped on board because it's going through the teacher training, even if you don't want to teach, it's a great way to really deepen your own personal practice and learn more about the philosophy behind it and learn more about all of the things outside of just the physical asana. But it's also a great way to learn how to perfect your personal practice and your physical form and the poses and the positions and how you get to wherever you're trying to go.
Right. Because it's individual. Your goal is personal.
Exactly.
There's no overarching goal. Trying to get better from one day to the next.
Exactly. And, my personal motto is every day better, right? Nice. So every day I'm trying to be a better version than I was yesterday. Yeah. So if that means just one little tweak was better or one more push-up, right?
Yeah,
one more burpee.
Yeah.
Like if I can get one more burpee in that time frame, then life is golden and I'm happy because I may not be the strongest person. I may not be able to touch my toes. I can totally touch my toes, but the
she can totally touch her toes.
But as long as it's better than it was yesterday, and I think that with yoga, that's really kind of a beautiful thing because you can become better than you were yesterday, not just physically, but you can find kind of a peace and a mental relaxation that maybe you didn't have yesterday. Maybe you meditate for 30 seconds longer today, and it makes that much more of a difference exponentially in your day-to-day life,
Yeah, for sure. You do yoga in Gaston County.
I do.
Doing something outside of Gaston County is very different from doing it inside of Gaston County. How is the yoga scene? What does it look like in Gaston County? How are your crowds? Do you get the same group all the time? How's it going?
So it's a slow grow kind of place.
Sure.
It's, there are a few really great studios here. I chose to kind of take a different route, and instead of working for a studio where I feel like it would be unethical for me to work at a studio and then say, hey, I'm doing a class over here outside the studio, come to my class. I would feel,
Sure.
that just kind of crosses a boundary for me. So I chose a different route. This is what I do. I work for myself. I created my own business, Morning Mountain Yoga, and I try to meet people where they're at and encourage them to find their own practice, right?
Nice.
I do have a group of regulars that show up, and lucky for me, they're very wonderful supporters, and they bring their friends, and they
Nice.
share my Facebook posts, and they help advertise for me to bring people to my classes. It's really phenomenal. I've met so many wonderful people here in Gaston through doing yoga.
That's awesome. So if people want to connect to Morning Mountain Yoga, where can they find you on social media?
Oh, I am all over the place. You can find me on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram at Morning Mountain Yoga, and where else? Oh, www.morningmountainyoga.com.
Nancy, thank you so much for coming on the 85.
Thank you so much for having me.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah, this has been great. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Again, you can see Nancy at York Chester Brewery on Thursdays at 7 p.m.
That's right. Pint and Pose is here.
Fantastic.
And we've also got Hoppy Yoga at Riverman Brewing Company on the first Sunday of every month at 10 a.m. right before brunch opens. So it's the perfect time to get stretchy before you get brunchy.
Nice.
Yeah, and if you're ever traveling up in the Asheville area, you can always check me out in Marion at Micahtown Brewing Company on the second Sunday of every month. And that is a super fun class. We call it Yoga Church because it's on a Sunday morning. And,
Nice.
it's just a beautiful place to be.
Fantastic. Thank you so much again for coming
Thanks
on.
so much. Have a great day.
All right, so now let's get to the Inside Those Pages with Nick Dumont. Nick, do you have a canine slant to this week's Inside the Pages?
Yeah, so my dog is a magician dog. He has broken out of 3 or 4 crates, and when I tried to zip tie him in one, he started chewing the zip ties and broke out of that. And he's broken out of apartments. He somehow gets on his little doggy feet and hits the lock and unlocks it, and then he opens the door somehow and runs out. He's got back doors on the patios. He's insane.
Nick, what's your dog's name?
Jack.
Jack. Free Jack. He's trying to get out, is what I'm saying.
Like Jeff Goldblum said in Jurassic Park, life finds a way.
Finds a way. Finds a way.
Jack saw the movie Get Out, and he's just trying to get out.
Nice. I have a mischievous dog, too. My dog is 16 years old. He's a grandpa dog now. I had him when I was a kid. And what he will do is wait until you're out of the room and then get on top of the chair on the dining room table and then put his paws up on the table and eat from your plate.
Oh.
Yeah. But he's got all the kibble in the world. This dog ain't starving. He's 16 years old, but he's got to eat my food.
He's a dog of high
taste. Off my plate, I'm just saying. You got dogs too, right, Josh?
I got a dog.
What's
I got
his
a
name?
dog. His name is Pojo.
Pojo?
Yeah, his name is Pojo.
Cousin of Cujo? Or?
No, I mean, that's kind of where it came from.
Yeah.
Yes. It just, it came along with an intimidating name. He's a good dog sometimes.
So what do they got going on in the Gazette, Nick?
So we are in the dog days of summer, and there are a lot of mischievous dogs around. And so we are having a contest of sorts where you are going to send in a photo of your cute dog or misbehaving dog and a crime of what they've done.
Okay,
So if they like to
a
get
mugshot.
into the trash, if they've eaten your food, if they've eaten the cat's food, anything like that.
Or your
So
own food.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to get a mugshot of your dog and send in their crime. And what we're going to do with the Gazette is we're going to run these photos like a crime lineup in our newspaper.
I love it. That's a great idea. Like a lock up dogs.
This is starting later in the month in August, and
Nice.
we don't have the full details yet, but stay tuned to the Gazette's social channels, and we'll have all the details of where you can send those photos.
It's a great idea, guys. It's a great idea. All right, and that is the 11th episode of the 85 podcast. As always, thank you so much for listening. Please follow us on all our social media feeds at the 85 pod. Go to our website, it's www.the85pod.com. Thank you again to York Chester Brewing Company. They've been so friendly to us since we started the podcast. Thank you again to Heidi from Anchored Soul. Thank you so much to Julia Roberts for being on the podcast. Thank you so much to Nancy Daniels from Morning Mountain Yoga. we're really blessed to just have a
Yeah.
lot of people
Absolutely.
supporting us. Go ahead and say goodbye, Josh.
Goodbye, Josh.
Say goodbye, Nick.
Goodbye, Nick.
Goodbye, Gaston County, and have a great day.